right before Yankees-Red Sox Olympic qualifiers Saturday morning. Giannis versus Luka, Greece versus Slovenia. Who would you rather see in the Olympics, Giannis or Luka?
It's the easiest question ever. Giannis. Luka needs the rest, and Giannis needs the reps. I didn't even mean to have that be like a funny way to sound.
Like a bar?
Like Luka's not healthy. Yeah, I haven't watched any of these games in their entirety, but I've watched like cut-ups of Luka plays, and he is wincing and doing all the like Luka, I'm not fully healthy stuff that he was doing in the playoffs. And Slovenia does not have the ability to survive without Luka doing everything. Mm-hmm. He's got to take all the shots, make all the passes. It's like his first year with the Mavs, second year with the Mavs. Maybe he does.
Right.
Giannis, on the other hand, I think is now fully recovered from the calf strain. And I think having Giannis play some high leverage games when he missed these playoffs, when the last playoffs he was injured, would actually be good for the Bucks. So to me, one guy shouldn't be there and the other guy needs to be there, so it's Giannis without a doubt.
Well, I agree with all that. I didn't look at it from that standpoint. I looked at it from an entertainment standpoint, and I would rather see Luka. Luka's just, to me, more fun to watch with what he can do offensively. And on that team, he does it all. Well, his numbers are ridiculous in international play, and that's when he was younger and not quite as good. I agree. If you're the Mavericks, you're probably silently rooting for them to lose so he can get some rest. But from an entertainment standpoint, and I'd love to see him go against like a Team USA, basically by himself, and see what he does, see what he can do. Yep. So Greece, neither team really has a chance to make much noise in the Olympics.
Didn't Slovenia make them? Am I tripping? I thought Slovenia 4 years ago.
Was it FIBA or the Olympics?
I thought it was the Olympics 4 years ago. I thought maybe I'm totally wrong. Dusty, somebody can fact check me on this. I thought they made the Final Four and then lost and didn't medal. But
they made a run.
They made a run with Luka doing.
Yeah, see, I'd like to see what Luka does. I think it'd be fun.
I'll ask you, Brew. Brew, you don't think Giannis has any chance to? You said you want to see Luka versus
Giannis is great.
I'd like to see Giannis versus Team USA.
I just think he needs a little more help just because he doesn't handle the ball like Luka does. And so you're going to need guys to get you the ball. Even that highlight, it was a guy making a nice pass to him. He's going to need guys to get him the ball. Luka's going to have the ball in his hands. He can take threes. He can penetrate. Obviously, if you're Team USA, the smart thing to do is double team him and get it out of his hands. But they haven't always done that in international play.
Yeah, by the way, so in the last Olympics, the U.S. ended up beating France in the gold medal game, decent game. Slovenia lost to France by 1 point in the semis. So we were 1 point away 4 years ago from getting Luka versus the U.S. for the gold.
Wouldn't you want to see that?
Yes, I would, but I think Luka's legit injured. I think Luka is, and again, we didn't talk about it. We acknowledged it during the playoffs, but that's not why they lost. I didn't want it to sound like an excuse.
No,
I think
You see it like a Jalen Hurts type, because Hurts didn't have surgery, did he?
No,
right,
exactly right.
Just wear and tear.
It would be good for him to have months off. But I actually think this is, the Mavericks, when they were asked about it, it wasn't even a question about whether or not he was going to play. They talked about it this is actually his favorite thing to do in basketball.
Because
playing for Slovenia. Well, I don't think it's just because of the style.
He can be a ball
I think
hog.
He's a national hero.
Correct. That's what I was going to say. I don't know enough about Slovenian history, but is Luka one of the 3 most famous Slovenians ever? In their history, probably.
Yes, there's a lot of Luka talk. My wife went to Slovenia.
Yes.
There's a lot of that's Luka's barber.
Right.
He didn't have a great haircut, but that's what
a lot more famous Greeks.
Yes, correct.
Well, Bruto.
And so I think it would stylistically, I agree with you, Brew, but I think as far as their ability to compete for a championship next year, for both of these guys, it's better if Giannis wins. I don't think Luka needs more big game experience. He just was in the finals. And I think Giannis could use,
I'd agree with
you know
that.
what I mean, some more high leverage games.
I think we're going to see playoff Giannis here during this.
So you think Greece is going to win?
Yes, I definitely think Greece is going to win. I think we're going to see furrowed brow Giannis, angry Giannis. I'm going,
Okay.
There's no possible way we're losing.
And by the way, the winner of this then probably has to go beat Croatia just to get in. And Croatia historically is always good.
Just quickly, this is probably the better conversation. I just realized it with 15 seconds left.
Yeah.
I also think if I was Giannis, enough with this Luka best player in the world stuff. Guys never won a championship, never won an MVP, is on the cover of Blow By Weekly, and I was Defensive Player of the Year. Like, I don't want to hear this, and I'm going to show you right now. We're both one-man teams. I'm about to destroy you.
Okay.
Wow.
That would have been a better conversation.
That was the Tiger.
Yeah, good job.
The way that
Sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Live from New York, it's the show that's trying not to disappoint Brew with our pie selection. It's the second hour of First Things First. Today, Cam Newton's all-time great compliment to Lamar Jackson. It's coming up in a half hour. Wait till you hear it. Meanwhile, Giannis and
they see it
Luka
right there.
battle this weekend. Is this a must-win for Luka after a devastating loss in the finals? But right now, it's time for the most delicious
Giannis
segment.
went out in the first round.
Well, he
You
was
didn't
hurt.
even play.
Yeah, it's the
Went out
most
in the
delicious
regular
segment in all of sports, where we see which teams have the recipe for success and which teams are just cooked. Bon appetit.
Did you write that, Wilds?
Yeah, you like that? Which teams are just cooked? But before we introduce
Sorry.
it,
Yeah.
we also have a pie for
Went
you,
a little
Bro.
too far.
Okay.
Now the producers
It's got to be Mississippi Mud. I know it is.
it's got my
They
scripts on
want it to be a surprise.
Oh, apple pie. So, see, now they
doesn't
make me
want that.
feel bad.
He doesn't want
Because
that.
I just spent the first segment of the show
I mean,
ripping
it's a-
apple pie.
It's an American classic, Brew.
He doesn't
It's-
like fruit in the pie.
Okay. All right. Can we?
We
I'll
can't
eat
do
the
this.
crust, the crisp kind of. I'll eat
yeah,
that.
okay,
And then you
good.
can have the fruit. I'll leave the fruit for you.
I
Thank
feel
you.
like we just
Thank-
kind of just
thank you.
bought pies for no reason.
Yeah,
then all that, thank you.
I agree. There used to be a reason for it. Now.
Bon appetit, it's time
Okay,
for Title
thank
Pie.
you. All right,
Friday.
This is the most optimistic version of Title Pie this time of year.
Yes.
With the most
You gave a
teams
lot, yeah.
included.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it is still 10 teams that are 0%ers. We will reveal
Ouch.
them now. The only surprise on there might be the team whose logo you're like, wait, what team is that? That's the Clippers in
God.
the lower right-hand corner. Everyone else.
That's a little disrespectful.
Oh, Brew's back.
I know.
You're
I mean,
back.
Are they with the rest of these groups? Look at the
Brew,
rest of the
do
teams.
they have any chance of winning the championship?
They got, I
Brew.
think a lot of teams on Title Pie have no chance. So I think they're as good
Okay.
as who's not.
Well,
see, the
we'll
bottom
get to Title
teams,
Pie.
I bet you
I'm
can put them there
very
with the bottom
curious
teams.
to see which teams you want to put your beloved Clippers, who you will never quit and can never quit, ahead of. All right, 0.5% Bruce Spurs. Just because of Wemby.
Sure.
0.5%. Give them a 1 in 200 chance.
Could happen.
Another 0.5%er. Wild Rockets.
I'll take it.
Because of Şengün plus Ime Udoka year 2.
Yep.
The Green,
Jalen Green.
Jabari Smith, if he finally kind of clicks in.
Red Van Vliet.
You're right. So 0.5%. 1%er, light the beam. 1%. Listen,
Wilds is lukewarm.
well, it's 1%.
They shot a lot
They-
of threes.
That's good. So did the Celtics.
Yeah, so
No, I
did the
know, that's
Celtics
pretty
and the
good, that's
Mavs.
what I'm saying.
1.5%. This is just as KD gonna have a resurgent old man year, where it's just like it's not him and Booker. Booker is clearly the 2. KD is the 1, and KD's like, God dog it. I'm not gonna go my whole 30s without a playoff run. I give 1.5%. Sure. 2%. New Orleans Pelicans. I like the DeJounte Murray
I do too.
addition. We were seeing Zion come into his own and then he got hurt. I think they might be making a move from Brandon Ingram, fill out the rest of the team.
They need some shooting.
They need some shooting. You like Trey Murphy, and so there's a lot of, give them 2%. Another 2% team. The Heat. Jimmy Butler with something to prove, maybe? Does Jimmy Butler take Pat Riley's criticism to heart? Take the regular season more seriously? They have the best coach in the league.
Playing for a
He's
contract.
playing for a contract for Jimmy, 2%. One more 2%. Cleveland Cavaliers. Standing pat, brought back Donovan. Are they maybe going to move Garland? Are they going to move Allen and, fill out the rest of the team? Or are they just going to say, we like our 4 guys, see what it is? This is a consistent playoff team since they've gotten Donovan. Can they take the next step against 2%? 2.5%. Golden State. So the reason, as presently constituted, I would have them with the Clippers. in the 0% or 1 star and then a bunch of, but because I